Hey, and welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. My name is Michael, and we talk about investing and personal finance. And in today's video, we look into the performance from Spaceship Voyager and the investments that I made into the account from 2020. So we're gonna have a look on what the performance in 2020 was, what the times were that were outstanding, and what I discovered over the time, and overall on how much I invested into Spaceship Voyager last year. I'm going to share a couple of things from the portfolio, and I also share all the details about my investments I made. So we're going to see all that in detail in that video. First, quick disclaimer, watch the full disclaimer at the end, but all that is just sharing my information. This is not financial advice, and I do not hold a financial services license. Yeah, so let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen now, and then we're going to see first, actually, let's hop first into the Spaceship Voyager portfolio and the dashboard of the Spaceship Voyager website. And you can see that my portfolio now is $408. And first, really quick, why did I start to invest into Spaceship Voyager? So I created a challenge back in May where I said that I invest $1 Australian for every new subscriber to my channel. So I did. I invested $1 Australian for every new subscriber in 2020, and I invested over 330 Australian dollar. I think until the end of last year, I invested 334 Australian dollars into this account. And actually it's 336. And yeah, it has grown to 408 Australian dollars. So you can see that the performance was $72.88, which obviously as a number does not sound a lot. But as you could see from the title, the performance in percent was actually really good. And the performance that I was able to achieve was over 19%, and we're going to see that in a second. And you can see that my investment has grown constantly because I always added a little bit, basically week by week, always that much as I gained subscriber on my channel. So there was a weekly investment that I made into this account. You can see that the overall chart from the underlying mutual fund that sits behind Spaceship Voyager was a little bit more volatile. And let's go back to 12 months. And there you can see it's actually quite steady upward trend. And there's a 12 months performance of 50%. And now you might ask, why has Michael just achieved 19% when the overall performance was 50%? And we definitely, we're going to see that in detail, but that obviously was because I invested over time. So I invested weekly. So not the $336 that I invested were not able to participate in the full gain of that performance, because some of the money I just invested here in the end of the year, or in and therefore I had a cost average effect, which is in this case was probably not perfect, but on downtrends of the market I benefit from that. And obviously that's what I chose to invest regularly into that account, depending on how many subscribers I gain. And you can see in March, that was when the market got down quite a bit, and you can see from the high down to the low, that was actually quite a bit for that fund. But when you can see, it gained from the down $1.15 per unit, the unit price, up to almost $2, and we are very, very close to the $2 mark of that mutual fund, which is amazing. Yeah, so this is the contribution, and this is the performance of the fund. You can see the contribution over the last year, and you can see the performance over the last 12 months. And on the dashboard, a couple of more information you can see the performance from some of the shares that are part of the Universe portfolio. The portfolio has just a little bit less than 100 holdings. I think at the moment just a little bit more than 90 holdings in its portfolio. One of the greatest performer in the entire portfolio was Tesla, and you can see 24%. That's probably not so much, but this is just the performance from this year. So these numbers are year to date. So Tesla once again is leading, even though the year has really just started. But the Spaceship Voyager portfolio was invested into Tesla so already very early on. So I would, if I would make an assumption, I'm not sure if we can see the details. So the 6 months performance, I think this is obviously the max performance from Tesla. And I'm not sure if we can see when it got added, but I think that was actually really early on, and they were able to take all that performance. So they started that fund in 2018. So they probably invested somewhere here when Tesla was still around the $100 mark. And it's also to note, this is the price in Australian dollar, so US dollar converted into Australian dollar. But going back to the dashboard, here you can see the top performers. You have a little bit of my transaction history, and you can see there was 1 month where I did not invest it every week, and this was also the time where I did not make a video every week. So I took a bit of a time off during December, and that's why I also did not invest it in December. But I catch up with all the investments I made. Now going into detail, let's see what my performance was compared to the overall performance. You can see I made a couple of lines in here. These were the different updates video I posted already. And up until then, I had my performance was 19%. Oh, see, I even made a mistake. My overall performance was, 19%, sorry. Yes. And you can see that there was a steady gain, obviously, and especially because I started in May, the first couple of weeks were actually really, really good, the performance. But you could see there was also in September, late August, September, the market was going down a little bit, and also the portfolio from Spaceship Voyager was going down quite a bit. Anyway, scrolling a little bit further down, we can see our weekly investments. And the last investment I made with 37 Australian dollars to make sure that we are back on track with how much we invest per subscriber. And you can see that the overall performance since I started in May was 34%. But my performance was just 19%. So when you take all the actual performance per week, and when you see the entire performance since May, that was more than 30%. But because I averaged into that mutual fund, my performance was 19.42%, which I still think is pretty good when you compare that with an average annual growth rate of performance in shares from 7 to 9% per year, what you can expect when you invest for long term. So this year was certainly a very positive year, and we are basically outperforming the average. And you can see again, this is 65 Australian dollars. This is the gain I made until the end of the year, so until 31st of December 2020. And in the portfolio, it was already a little bit more. It was at 72, and that was because the last couple of days were actually really good. So the January started already to be a really good month. So it was already good to be invested in the first couple of months in 2021. Let's see if the year actually continues like that. I hope these details from the investing into Spaceship Voyager were insightful, and you could see a little bit more about what the actual performance was and how that develops, especially when you invest over time. In one of my next videos, we go into details about what the companies are that are creating the universe portfolio. And just to give you a quick sneak peek, the list of investments are here. But I'm gonna extract them into Excel, and we're gonna go through the investments, and we're gonna have a quick chat about all the different investments. I see I actually did not share my screen, so let's change that. So yeah, in here in that section, you see all the different companies that are part of the Spaceship Universe portfolio, as you can see here. And yeah, we're gonna go into details to see what those companies are in one of the next videos. So stay tuned for that one. So thanks very much for watching this video, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Until then, have a good day. Bye.